Ryan Welle was a wide receiver at Bemidji State University from 1998 to 2002. He left the Beaver football program as an all-conference honoree and the team's all-time single-season receiving yardage leader.
My role is I caught the ball. When it was thrown to me, that's about the extent of it. And fortunately, I caught more than I dropped. But more importantly, what made us so strong is one, you have Eddie Acosta in the backfield. There's just a huge force and still holds every record imaginable for a running back by a lot. And so you have defenses that want to focus on him, but at the same time you have on wide receivers of Jason Ledeen, Ben Woodford, Jeff Rothman, that you have to respect because they can hurt you just as badly if you don't pay attention to them. So defenses, they wanted to focus on Eddie, but they couldn't cheat. So it just opens it up for everybody.
Welle was a part of the foundation of Beaver football and a member of the 2000 team that set the program's record for wins at 9.
When you win, and obviously life's always a lot more fun, but more than anything else, we just had some really fun teams, great group and collection of guys, great coaching staff. So it was, every day you're out there playing with your brothers, for lack of a better way of saying it, and putting up a lot of points and having success. So it was just a chance of a lifetime in a lot of ways.
Ryan he's just a good, hard-working kid, number one, blue-collar type of mentality, and just was a leader even back when he was younger. Gave his heart and soul to the program and put the team first, just like you would expect a good leader to do.
Welle may not have been the most gifted student or athlete, but his work ethic set him apart.
Ryan was really motivated. I think he wasn't the highest regarded recruit probably, and if you look at the same time frame you had Eddie Acosta from the same high school. So by the time he got to be a senior, he was pretty close to equaling what Eddie was doing in the backfield, and really was probably a big reason why Eddie was able to get all those yards, because Ryan was blocking and doing some of the dirty work, what we were doing back then.
There's no doubt Welle knew his role on the football field, but he also knew at an early age what his role in life would be.
My mom likes telling the story about when I was in preschool, right? So teachers going around and asking all the kids what their favorite toys are, and everyone's giving them a candid answer of G.I. Joe or Barbie and this and other thing. And my response at that time was money. And so, finance and banking, it's been a part of the family, my family, for a long time. Great-grandfather was in banking, my dad's in banking, number of uncles in banking, and it's just something that always intrigued me. I kind of told you about I always knew which direction I wanted to go and how that worked as a detriment to me at times. And so when I'm getting my general eds, it was one of those cases. I did not try that hard my first 2 years of college. And, I was having some success on the field. But at the time, the offensive coordinator, who was, kind of the academic advisor for the team as well, we're just kind of meeting one day and we're talking about it, and he was looking at my grades and he goes, you're average. You're absolutely average. And as soon as you allow this mediocrity to creep into this side of your life, it's going to be that much easier to allow mediocrity to fall into the other side of your life. And at that point, it was a real eye-opening experience for me. Someone had never been that frank or blunt with me. And the first time anyone has ever really called me average, and the distaste that it created in my mouth, propelled me, I think, as an athlete to a whole nother level, but more importantly, as a student to a whole nother level. So, part of the success that we had, we all knew we weren't going to be going on to the NFL or anything along those lines, but we wanted to be successful, we wanted to win, and so we were truly committed to the program. So it required a lot of attention and dedication to the craft, but at the same time knowing that we didn't have the luxury of playing on a Sunday, and so we had to focus on the studies as well.
As a member of a prominent family in a small community, there are those who may have expected Welle to jump into the family business right after graduation. But he had other plans. Just like on the football field, he was looking to prove himself.
I didn't want something to be given to me, right? And so, it was time for me to kind of go on and prove to myself that I could do the things that I always thought that I could. And so I took a different path, and I went out to Ann Arbor, Michigan, and tried to make it out there for a while. Following my girlfriend at the time, basically, and got into a job, but ultimately we wanted to get back into Minnesota, and so we ended up taking a job with U.S. Bank, and I was there for a few years, enrolled to get my MBA at the University of St. Thomas down there, and then shortly after that switched over to Bremer Bank. And when I left Bremer, roughly 6.5 years later, something like that, we left as a vice president of commercial lending. So had some success on my own, and You know, at that time, my wife and I were expecting our second kid and had the ideas of trying to get back to a smaller town, and then where is there an opportunity within a smaller town, and was fortunate enough that there was an opening back here in town with a cousin of mine looking to retire, and we decided to give it a shot. Always wanting to strive, always wanted to be competitive, always wanted to, you know, outdo the next guy is, I would say, honestly, the biggest thing that made me successful here as a student athlete as well as professionally.
It's fun to have that type of person run around in the community that you can not only talk football, but just he's a good friend and just a good person.